this is not my usual kind of content, but the trailer for Season 5 for Halo Infinite just dropped, Reckoning, and it looks fantastic. But there's some things there that I noticed, particularly in the wording of a few things, that I want to draw people's attention to, just so I'm kind of accounting expectation or balancing expectation, because I'm a little concerned there's enough ambiguity in the way that things were worded to suggest to people that we might be getting more than we actually will. So I just wanted to draw people's attention to it and give it a grand overview of what's coming in Season 5. I'm excited. Not my usual kind of content, so it's a bit fast and loose, but let's get into this. Hey everyone, welcome back to Infestation 00. Season 5 trailer just dropped. It's looking great, and straight off the bat, in the first images that we're seeing of this trailer, it looks like there's some new armor components coming for the Mark 7 core, at least specifically in regards to this particular armor. It looks like there's new helmets, new shoulders, perhaps some new chest attachments and things like that coming. That's looking great. Again, expanding what is arguably now the largest armor core in Halo Infinite, and is continuing to grow, and that's kind of to be expected. The Mark 7 is kind of the newest, so to speak, platform, lore speaking, canon speaking, and is kind of the armor for Halo Infinite. The other cores come from, you know, various other inspirations, but the Mark 7 is like the home core, so to speak. So it's great to see that that's ever expanding, which is also why I've not actually done a dedicated armor core video to it, because it's always expanding. If I'm going to do stuff now, next season I might have to do more, and then it just becomes like fragmented in different places. I want to kind of keep it all together as much as I can, but there's going to be a cut-off point. Anyway, moving on from that, so extraction mode has now been confirmed. It's coming back. Extraction mode was Halo 4, Halo 4 era. There was a similar, though not identical, kind of form of extraction mode back in Halo Reach, but that was kind of more folded into the invasion mode. But the extraction mode that this seems to be at least loosely based on is from Halo 4, and in some regards it's been updated quite heavily. I'd be interested to see exactly how that's going to work out. There also seems to be some new equipment that's being kind of debuted in these images as well. The next thing I wanted to draw people's attention to was the flood customization. So first and foremost, the armor looks fantastic. Like, we haven't had like Spartan infected since Halo 4, I think it disappeared in Halo 5 entirely. And in Halo 4, I mean, it was kind of grotesque and kind of cool looking. The armor was like more like just the under armor, and then like a weird mutated face and like a sword for a hand. That was kind of cool. But this is like another level. This is Spartan armor. This is literally like a fully armored Spartan has unfortunately fallen to the flood and has been infected, and the infection's kind of protruding through the armor. Now that looks fantastic. It is a beautiful aesthetic. However, I would forgive people to mistakenly think that this is an armor core, so to speak. And the wording that they used, flood customization, I don't necessarily think. First and foremost, it's definitely not an armor core as far as I'm aware. It seems like it's more likely that it could be attachment. So in the similar way, like you can attach like the command module to the helmet, or the grenades to like the belt in the Mark 5B core, or like the breacher or the forearm attachments in the Mark 5B core. Those kind of things that go on top of the base armor. It feels like flood customization kind of feels like it could be that. So when you go into your, for example, your helmet, you'll be able to select the helmet, then go across to attachments, and then you can have like cat ears and the command module, the playing card and stuff like that. But then you can also have flood infected. It feels like that's what it is. However, I also kind of want to mediate expectation. It's also entirely possible that there are only like some specific kind of flood infected armor variants. If you wanted your normal helmet to be flood infected, that might not be a possibility if it's not an attachment. It might be that there are only some helmets that are flood infected and are part of kind of a small core, like a mini battle pass, like a 10 level battle pass, something like that. In which case, it detracts a little bit from our ability to kind of freedom of expression, so to speak, or customize our Spartan with flood infestation. It kind of limits that, but it still looks fantastic. So even if we did get like that, like a 10 level battle pass, I'd kind of be okay with that. But the creme de la creme would be if they're actual armor attachments and you can attach it to anything. Then that's just fantastic. That's a huge step forward. So that's looking great. Either case, welcome, but definitely would be better if it was attachments. Moving on from that, we've got some new maps. So Prism looks fantastic, and it's a map with seemingly like Sudanese crystal or blamite or needle rounds. That's what needle rounds are made from in the lore. In the cave walls, you can shoot that. They fragment and actually track targets, which is fantastic. That adds a level of environmental combat, which we haven't really seen that much in quite a while. I mean, there has been multiplayer maps that have had like destructible environment. For example, there's the Lockout remake that has like icicles dropping from the top, and if you shoot them, they fall and they can splatter people. But we've not had something quite like this before. That looks really good. And of course, Sudanese crystal, it's mined by the Covenant and turned into the needle round. So there's that nice thread of narrative, so to speak, in the lore. That's really good to see. And Forbidden, which seemingly looks, at least aesthetically, like it's heavily inspired after Forest, which takes place on the same planet that the Babysitter took place on, as far as I'm aware. At least it aesthetically looks like that. It could be that this is just another location on Delta Halo, for example, because again, similar kind of ruins on Delta Halo, but at least at first glance, it looks to be the same planet as Forest. So I might have missed information out there somewhere that confirms that it's one or the other. I'm sorry if that's the case, if I have missed that, but I'm just going off of, gut reaction to this, so to speak, at the moment. So that's looking great. Onwards from that, AI has finally arrived for Forge. Interesting that they start with Forge. So that means that there is more than likely some insane maps on the way from the Forge community. There's already some extraordinarily talented Forgers out there. Unfortunately, it's completely lost on me. The last time I did anything of any significance in Forge was in Halo 3. So, as far as... Oh, no, I did a few things in Halo Reach as well. But yeah, Halo 3 was my last big venture into Forge. And even back then, I was relatively useless. The stuff I've seen the community create in Forge, even since then, has been fantastic. But in Halo Infinite, it's just the tools are so much more powerful, and the stuff that people are doing is incredible. I am fully prepared for some really passionate, dedicated fans out there, especially ones who are really entrenched in the lore, to recreate battles from like Halo's past. I am so looking forward to like Silent Cartographer, like Storm the Beach remakes. That would be fantastic. I'm looking forward to kind of holding the spires on Halo CE in the second level. That kind of firefight-esque kind of feel, very similar to what they did with Halo CE Anniversary. They had the Halo Reach multiplayer Forge system, and you could go to Installation 04. I'm looking forward to something like that happening, as well as maybe some remakes of some of the campaign engagements, like things that happen on the Ark, or even some really early on battles in the Halo universe, kind of first contact on Harvest, for example. That would be fantastic to play through as a first person perspective. So, and trust me, all of this sort of stuff is well within the boundaries of possibility with these ridiculously talented Forge communities. So I'm excited for that, and again, I'm not huge into that kind of aspect of things, so that's great. Battle Pass has now been confirmed. You can now earn XP via custom games. Now it's a small thing, but it's a nice touch because it ultimately encourages wider engagement across the multiple different various modes on the game right now, and that can only be a good thing. I mean, if you're keeping all of the XP and all the stuff that sort of adds to your so to speak service career on just the multiplayer stuff, then that kind of neglects custom games and all the awesome stuff that's happening in the custom games browser. And yeah, it just makes sense to diversify and to allow people to earn experience in more than one place. We've got our first confirmation of Crosscore systems. Now, at the moment, it seems limited that it's just the helmets, but you can have seemingly helmets from any core and switch them out onto any other core. That's ridiculously cool. It's very, very good news for like the future customization options and individuality that you can express through your armor. That's fantastic. And ultimately, if they can do it for helmets, they can do it for the rest. So helmets are now, but we're looking at the very, very real possibility that very soon down the line, Crosscore is just in place. You can do it finally. Again, it's one of those frustrating things where yes, it should have been there at launch, or it should have been at least close to there at launch. It wasn't, as things turn out, but it's here now. That's all that really matters. We've had some tough times, but if we're always looking back, we can never look forward, can we? We can never enjoy what's on its way, and this is on its way, so we need to be paying attention to this. So that's looking great. We've also got the Mark 6 armor kit, which is dropped, which is the Chief armor kit. Just his crotch. Sorry about that. But we've got that's been confirmed as dropping now. I don't believe this is an armor core in and of itself. I actually think it's more like the preset like kits that you had for like the armor coating kits for the pro teams on say the Mark 7 platform. You can go into like the little kit at the start, and you can go through like Cloud9s and Space Station Gaming and all that sort of stuff. And you can have those kits. I think, at least judging by the wording, that's what's going on. So it's not that you can switch out the specific armor components with your Mark 7 base, although that would be awesome if you could. I think it's more than likely that it's just a standalone kit. You apply it, a standalone kit, and it aesthetically just makes you look like Chief. Again, I'm not even sure coatings would be able to be affected, because again, with those kits, with the coating kits for the pro teams, you can't change anything there either. Again, it's cool. More could have been done with it, but in either case, if that's what we're getting, I'm okay with that. Could be better, could be worse. It's fine. It's cool. We're also getting PvE debuting with King of the Hill. Now, PvE is a huge aspect of Halo, and it has been for a long time, since Halo ODST, really, with the release of Firefight. Firefight was a huge hit back then. It continued to be a hit with Halo Reach, and since then it's kind of fallen off the wagon, and we haven't really gotten a lot with it since. So having PvE returning in a big capacity and debuting with King of the Hill of all things, that's an interesting choice for the first game variant type to debut with it. But again, this is just the starting blocks. We've got the potential of this growing exponentially over time. So fact of the matter is, PvE is debuting. PvE is basically Firefight. I'm excited for what that entails in the near future, especially considering that retroactively over in MCC at the moment, they retroactively added to Halo 3 ODST's Firefight that you can now do Flood Firefight. What's to say they're not going to do the same kind of thing in Halo Infinite in due course, and you're going to have Flood Firefight in Halo Infinite? How cool would that be? Especially if you can spawn in both Flood forms and Covenant forms or Banished forms at the same time, and then you're all warring against each other. Again, the possibilities, especially for Forge maps and the Forge community, endless. That's just... if that's the way things are going, they're making all the right decisions right now. Again, this goes back to the whole, some of the big names management at 343 no longer there, and now seemingly all these awesome things are happening. Was it management? Is it just coincidence that this is now happening? That it was going to happen this way anyway, even if they were still in place? Or is it because they're no longer in place that it is happening? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter if but why. It is happening. That's all that matters to me. So, on top of that, we have a fantastic look at the Halo CE era Mark V. Now, I've heard some rumours out there that we've got a Mark V core coming. I'm not entirely certain that it's the case or not. Again, I've not done much digging in. I try to stay away from it. I try to stay away from the data mining and stuff like that, because it's not that I don't. It's not that the spoilers are going to bother me. I mean, it's a game that's out, and it's I'm less invested in the multiplayer aspect as I am in the campaign aspect. If there was like data mining stuff coming out about what's going on in the campaign, I'm out. I don't want to know until the game gets here. But with multiplayer, less of a thing. It's less of a problem for me. But like I said, I don't go actively looking for it. So again, there might be further information out there that says that there's new armor cores coming. a Mark 5 armor core, a Mark whatever armor core, whatever the case may be. I'm relatively blissfully unaware of that, so forgive me if you're looking for particular spoils in that regard, because I don't have them. So all I can say from what I'm seeing here is that Mark 5 looks absolutely fantastic. And bearing in mind that relatively recently, a little while ago, towards the start of the year, so quite a while ago, Marcus Leto, the father of the Master Chief, the guy who originally designed the Master Chief back in Halo CE, recreated and released a really high fidelity model of the Chief in his Mark 5 armor with better proportions and everything, and it looks like creme de la. It looks fantastic. It looks absolutely fantastic. I'll also slap my microphone around. I'm really sorry about that. And this particular iteration of the Mark V in Halo Infinite looks either heavily inspired by or stylized after Marcus Leto's recreation of the Mark V. So that's, again, full props. Looks fantastic. All in all, that's kind of a broad sum up. I've tried to be as quick and succinct as I can, but I'm fanboying a little bit, I'll admit. All in all, it's looking sick. And obviously Season 5 is dropping immediately following the weekend of HCS, which is literally this coming weekend, which is unreal. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at HCS. So if you're at HCS in Seattle and you're around, I'll be around. I'm sure you'll find me. Please, run up and introduce yourself. It would be great to meet all of you guys. And yeah, I'll be online with all of you immediately following that to get on with Season 5 and see, like, thick and fast what's going on. This is what I've been wanting for a long time. This is Halo Infinite finally getting into a stride, finally finding its pacing and dropping things of substance. This is what we needed really early on. We didn't get it. Water under the bridge, as far as I'm concerned. It's not ideal. Hopefully they learn in the future. It seems we're going in the right direction. Like, so stuff in the past, don't care about. If I'm always looking back, I'm not looking forward. That's my ethos at the moment, and I am looking forward to this. So not my usual style of content. Fanboyed a little bit, probably got off track a little bit. I hope you followed most of what I had to say. If you didn't, go across the Halo YouTube channel right now and watch this without my interruption. It's good. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider smashing the like button and leave a comment below on what you'd like me to cover next. Big shout out to my patrons, Spartan10148, the Metarch of my installation, Falcon, Prophet Bear, Mikhail, Sophia, and Ashley, my dutiful monitors, Darian, Scarab, Spartan0137, Anthony, Ghost, Aaron, Chris, Jacob, Sean, Element Zero, Somatic, Jordan J3, Dan, Mr. Keys, Directal, Gunslinger, Jacob, Bandmill, Echo, Evermore, Officer Cat, and Personal Devil, my diligent sub-monitors, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, and my loyal enforcers. And all the other patrons who have jumped aboard to support the channel. It means more to me than I can accurately put into words. Another shout out to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, Jacob, Schmitty, Talia, Fenrir and Born Stellar, and all the other YouTube members keeping my installation running on that glorious vacuum energy. Shout out to John for I don't fucking know. And if you want more of this kind of content, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos, and consider jumping aboard yourself as a patron or YouTube member to keep the channel alive and kicking. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.